Well, g'day legends, I'm Jeff Ross, your caffeinated kangaroo, bouncing in from Tasmania, and this is the Laptop Lifestyle Dad Show, brought to you by the Los Angeles Tribune Podcast Network. Now, if you're here for some good laughs, great stories, and practical tips, and you're in for a treat. My mission is simple, to help you to break free from overwhelm, master AI and social selling, and build a business that doesn't just pay the bills, but lets you to help you to make epic memories for the people that you love. And speaking of memories, our guest today has been part of some of my most favorite memories over the last couple of years. We've traveled together. We've done Hawaii, Fraser Island, Punta Cana, and trust me, legends, she's got more wisdom than a koala up a eucalyptus tree. So let's dive in. Today, I'm pumped to introduce you to a true legend, my good friend, travel buddy, and someone who knows how to tell a story better than a kangaroo can jump, Kylie Thompson. Kylie is a single mum raising two awesome teenagers, a powerhouse business coach, and some of the best persons I've ever worked with. And I had the privilege of knowing Kylie since 2010, when she was the head business coach of the National College of Business. She's one of the best I've ever seen when it comes to storytelling and social selling. She is the best I've actually seen. I used to call her my human AI before AI was even a thing. And while she's amazing at helping people craft their purpose-driven lives, she's also the kind of mate who will tell you when you've got sunscreen on your nose halfway down in the group photo at the picture of Hawaii. And so Kylie, welcome to the show. It's a blast having you here and really looking forward to our listeners to get to know your story as intimately as I do. So Kylie, I'd love to start. What is your Sucksville versus Awesome Town story? Like, where did you start? What was life like, and some of the struggles, like the hero's journey, and towards now you're heading into a new season in your life. Like you've gone through the ups and downs, the roller coaster ride, the twists and turns, and there's loads of wisdom to share and unpack here. But what has life like been on your journey? What's your hero's journey?
Wow. Well, firstly, Jeff, thank you so much for having me on. And a huge g'day. I'm a true blue proud Aussie. So g'day to everyone all over the world who is listening. And Jeff, just listening to, you do your intro, I just want to say how freaking proud of you I am. It's so awesome to see how far you've come over the last, gosh, I don't know, it feels like 2 decades that I've known you since the old National College of Business days. So, and congratulations on your podcast. It's amazing.
Absolutely appreciate you. Thank you.
You are welcome. So, gosh, a little bit about me. So my story from Sucksville to Awesome Town, as you like to call it, or as I like to call it, the caterpillar to the butterfly. So, gosh, my story was a little bit flipped. Most people really struggle at the start. Well, I came out of the blocks with the Midas touch. Everything I touched turned to gold. And my dream was to own my first gym. So I bought my first gym in 2004. It was about to close its doors. It wasn't profitable. They owed over a year's worth of rent. And so I resigned from my full-time job. And I remember driving home stuck in peak hour traffic for an hour and a half, excited and terrified at the same time that was my last ever paycheck on the 30th of June, 2004. And I really didn't look back. For 15 years, I had nothing but success. I grew the business 300% in my first year. Further 500%, I grew it to 13 clubs. I franchised. I became the head coach of the National College of Business, as my play job in my part-time. And so for me, everything was going great. And then a decade ago, as I just turned 40, I received a phone call from my accountant that literally overnight I'd lost everything. And for me, I got landed on my butt. And, it was probably the hardest place, the hardest time of my life. And, having to pick up the pieces and rebuild from that moment was my struggle. And, feeling like a failure. And all of a sudden, this positive, mindset that I can do everything and anything, was really questioning everything. And, being the person who used to serve and help and support others, all of a sudden I had to put my hand up and ask for help. And that was a real struggle. So I actually turned to network marketing. I found this cool little travel club and decided I'd go travel full time with my kiddos. And, we checked off epic bucket list destinations all over the world, lived the laptop lifestyle. But to be truthful, we certainly weren't making the $1 million income, but we were living the $1 million lifestyle. So the struggle continued for quite some time. And then 5 years ago, as COVID hit and the whole world was in chaos, my ex-husband decided to depart and literally left. So overnight, I had no income. All of my clients cancelled with COVID, no husband, no car. I was distraught and devastated, as were my two kiddos, and I had $287 in the bank.
Mm.
And so for me, that was a second wave. And I always figure, if you don't listen to the universe, if you don't get the lessons, well, it just comes back bigger and harder to make sure that you do get the lessons. And, the last 5 years as a single mum has been some of the hardest, but some of the best times of my life, and being able to rebuild, now living here in my beautiful little tree house in the Whit Sundays, and, finally just feeling like I'm living a life of freedom, living my best life. And that's what I'm really passionate now about, helping others. Sometimes you have to have everything fall apart and, go from caterpillar into that cocoon. Transformation's messy. It's dark. Everything has to break down to be able to rebuild. And, I love to say you can't have the breakthrough without having the breakdown. And so now life for me is very different. Launching a brand new business next year, which I'm excited about. Our mission's to be the #1 land-based attraction here in the Whit Sundays for tourists and locals. So very excited about that. And of course, absolutely loving being back in the coach's seat, inspiring and empowering others to 10x their life, and doing that through making business super streamlined and simple.
It's so awesome to see you, as you said, back in the coach's seat, and I just love it. I know this is your genius zone, and I know you come to life in this space, and you can serve and impact and help a lot of people. So, very grateful, for everything that you've had in speaking into my life, and how you've mentored me, and that makes my heart sing. That I know you're going to help a lot of other people do the similar things, and so I appreciate everything that you've ever brought to the conversation. Now, for our listeners, I think there's something really important here to tackle. You've gone through, had success, crashed, had success, crashed, and sort of coming back up through it again. And someone who can relate to that, this is my third time going around, and I know that there's a bigger meaning to it for me. This is a bigger purpose, a bigger impact behind that. I love to hear your side of that and speak into that. So I feel for our listeners, right? We've gone through COVID. COVID shook the world upside down and turned it inside out. And there are still a lot of people 5 years later trying to figure out what their purpose is. And I know that you have a gift in this space. So for our listeners, what are some of the things that you've gone through to help you to get to the other side and get clarity on your purpose and get clarity on your direction? What are some of the tips and advice that you can give our listeners?
Wow. Talk about a powerhouse question. Thanks, Jeff. So look, there's a couple of things I want to share around this. The first one is to trust in the process and to know, like I know that everything is happening for you. So, when I see someone share on social media that, they've just lost their job or their business is shut down or that, something's happened, like I celebrate and I get really excited. And so the first thing is our mindset. How do we react and respond? So for me, each time something's happened, of course we're all human. So you've also got to give yourself the space and compassion and be kind to yourself, that you are allowed to react. Being upset and angry are just as important of emotions as fun and laughter and love, right? So, but don't stay there. It's okay to be upset and angry and all the things, but don't unpack and have a pity party for the rest of your life. Check yourself in, give yourself 5 minutes, an hour a day, whatever it is that you need, but, put a date on it that, right, now I'm going to get my ass back up and we're actually going to move forward again. And what is your mindset around that? So I have 5 questions that I ask, and I share these with my coaching clients, but I practice what I preach. I do these myself. And so I remember when my husband left, and I'm a walker. I love getting out in nature, the sunshine, the fresh air, moving your body. It makes you feel good. It puts you in a good mindset. I listen to Audible. And there were 5 key questions I asked myself over and over and over. And the first one is, right now in this moment, what can I be grateful for? Because it takes you out of a place of fear and it puts you into a place of love. The second thing is, what is the lesson right now? Because we either win or we learn. So if you're not winning, you're learning, but you need to get the lesson. Otherwise, like it did with me, it'll come back bigger, harder, stronger, and knock you out. So what's the lesson that you need to learn? The third thing is, what are the blessings in this situation? Because there are always blessings. And, for me, whilst our family was in uproar, what it did is it brought me closer to my kids. I lost 25 kilos because I was out walking every day. There were so many blessings. The support from family and friends that rallied in, I learned to be open to receiving. So what are the blessings? The fourth one, and this is probably my favorite question out of the 4, is, what can I be responsible for? Because what
Powerful.
that does is it takes you from being a victim into actually owning your shit. And hey, let's face it, we all have a role to play. Everything that happens, if you're sitting there pointing the finger, blaming someone else, that's the problem. You need to look in the mirror and say, okay, what can I be responsible for? Because until you actually take responsibility for your part in whatever it was that's happened, you're just reacting and blaming. And when you blame, you remain the same. So what can I be responsible for? And then the 5th question is, what's now possible because this has happened? And, I look at what I've created in the last 10 years after being landed on my ass 2 times. And I'm just like so super grateful that everything has happened. I've traveled the world, moved to the Whitsundays. I even went to my skipper ticket. I had a year out in the ocean. And that's another part in answering this question, Jeff, is giving yourself the time. And, the cocoon doesn't have to just be that dark, messy space. You get to choose. It's your life. You're the author. You can make it fun. And for me, I'm a mermaid. So Jeff's the caffeinated kangaroo. Well, I'm a mermaid, and I love to create magic and a magical life. And so for me, I grew up on boats. My dad was a fisherman. So I'm so passionate about the ocean and the Whitsundays here in marine tourism that I actually went and did my ticket, and I went and drove boats and did marine tourism for the year, and I actually gave myself a year off. And it was the best thing that I could have done. It was my soul food. And what it did is it gave me time to really do the soul searching that I needed to do. And what tends to happen is most people jump into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And we see it all over Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the network marketing industry. And I know you have a lot of network marketers who are listening to your channel. And for all of you, I'd say, stop jumping all over the freaking place. The only person who's allowed to jump is the caffeinated kangaroo. And you can jump up and get excited. But seriously, choose your thing and do the thing. When one of my mentors many, many years ago, he, I think at that time I had 3 gyms and, the vision was a lot more. And he said, Kylie, you can't ride 2 horses with one ass and you're trying to ride 10. And when you're constantly jumping around from thing to thing, people don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's really important that, you take that time to heal, to do the soul searching, to do the work on yourself, and then go with what you're really called to do.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. There's 2 conversations that I want to unfold here, just unpack. But let's tack around that bouncing around thing with the network marketing industry, right? I see that as probably one of the biggest challenges that any serious network marketer worth their salt is facing. And I would say go into this, and I want to speak into this and hear your side of things too. And feel free to challenge. Like, this is a safe space. I love the iron sharpens iron. But I would say that if you're going to go on one thing, you need to go in on yourself. Yeah, like you need to personally brand yourself, go all in on you and figure out what it is that makes your heart sing, figure out who you want to serve and how you want to serve them and why you want to serve them and what makes you the person to go to. And that was how you helped me. You know, that was what you helped me get clarity on. And now look what we're doing here in the Laptop Lifestyle Dads community. Yes, we were pioneers of dream trips after COVID together, and that was a really great start to my industry and my space. It helped me to believe in myself. It helped me to adopt some key fundamental skill sets to say, hey, shit, I do know my stuff. I can do this. I can teach it. But now, like, I've shifted to another company called Shopley, and if you want to look from the outside in, it probably has looked like I've jumped around a little bit. But one thing I'm very clear on is I've gone all in on me. And how I serve the community and how I show up and why I show up. It's not just about me, it's about the community. And when you get that right, and I truly believe when you get your personal brand right, you get your niche community, know who you serve right, then all of these network marketing companies, products and opportunities, they just become products on our shelf. What are your thoughts and opinions on this topic?
Yeah, look, great point, Jeff. And I 100% agree with you. Really, if I look back at, I had 10 years with Dream Trips and obviously under the original brand World Ventures. And, for me, I'm going to break it into two parts. So the first part is the network marketing industry is changing and it's very volatile right now. There are companies closing down and, just this week, my heart, my love goes out to all of the Tupperware distributors in Australia. And, that's been a brand for 3 decades. And so I'll talk about the challenge first, and then I'll come back with it'll come back full story. Don't worry.
It's right.
Also,
I 100% have faith in you.
Yeah. I like to go on a little tangent. So the challenge with going all in and being very loud and proud with the company that you represent is it's not your business. You have no control. You can control yourself and you can control how you approach people, but you have zero control on your business. So where I come the full circle is you don't know what's going to happen, what's going to change. The company could go under like it did with me. And I was so grateful that Dream Trips was resurrected and I was able to, pick up the reins, so to speak, from where I left off. But at the end of the day, it's not your business.
Very valid point.
I love the hedgehog principle from the book Good to Great by Jim Collins. And he says, if you're going to look at an opportunity, number one, it needs to be something that you're passionate about. And for us, both of us, we are passionate about travel. It needs to be something that you can hand on heart say that you're the best in the world at. Well, hey, I'm pretty good at traveling. And number 3 needs to be something that you can create profit out of, and when I talk profit, I talk about leverage and creating passive or residual income streams. And so you don't have complete control over the number 3. Whereas if you flip it, and this is what I love, what you teach, Jeff, is when you brand yourself. And for anyone out there, whether you're in network marketing, whether you're working for another business as an employee, or whether you have your own business, if there's one takeaway that you take from this podcast today, that is create your own personal brand, because then you are in control and nobody can ever take that away from you.
Mic drop.
You might shut down social media, but you still have your personal brand. The company might go under, you still have your personal brand. So it is so important, and I think more important than ever before. I wouldn't be promoting any network marketing company publicly. You want to create your brand, who you are, who you serve, what you stand for. And then, as you said, Jeff, looking at what companies and products are in alignment that you can put on your shelf. For us, we're about to open Fun Putt, which is a mini golf. And, I'm looking at this going, wow, we could open 100 of these things. And what other products are aligned that we could actually have
Yeah.
a shop, right?
Yeah.
Both online and in the physical. And I think what happens is when it comes to network marketing, there's a lot of first-time entrepreneurs, first-time business owners. So they just don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And they're following what the company or their upline leader says, which of course they want you to promote the company and the product, but you need to learn how to be a professional. And it's that whole amateur versus pro of creating your personal brand and follow what all the top leaders do. And I can guarantee you they're not promoting the company publicly, they're promoting their personal brand.
Correct. And I used to believe that you had to go through a certain roadmap to get to that point, right? And I flipped that on its head now. I believe that we can start with a personal brand. And, with today's technology, with today's AI and all of that, like there's nothing stopping you, holding you back to starting your personal brand. And just for our listeners, I want to make it very clear here, you don't have to become a coach. You don't have to become a content course creator to leverage a personal brand. I've seen people do it where they become the community connector. They go and build an amazing community and they do life together. They essentially build an accountability partnership group. And then they point people in the right direction. They become the connector. They become the middle person. So there are several different ways that you can go and build a personal brand, create a niche community, and monetize that. And I know Kylie is probably one of the best in helping you to figure that out. And I highly recommend that if you have stuck there, reach out to Kylie, have a chat, and she'll help you get where you need to be. But I also want to flip the script here and come back to storytelling, because I believe that storytelling is one of those 4 fundamental skills that in today's world on social media and all that, and developing a personal brand, I would say it's going to be probably the most important skill that you need to develop, and anybody can develop it, especially with AI these days, and how to become a master storyteller. I know that even before AI, you just have this amazing skill in the storytelling. You've done the work, you've done the training, you can see that you've invested quite heavily into this space. So my question for you is on the power of storytelling. As I said, you're one of the best I've seen. So for our listeners, why is storytelling so crucial in business today? And how can we help people to learn how to craft a story that truly connects, that relates, that resonates, that takes people along the journey with them?
Great question, Jeff. He's coming out with all the big ones today, I tell you. I didn't prepare for today because I just knew that Jeff would ask me the right questions, and you never know what you're going to get. So, look, storytelling is the most powerful weapon that you have in your toolkit, not just for business, but for life.
Mm.
And if we think about it, we all learn through stories. It started as a kid when we used to watch Sesame Street or Play School, or when we used to sit and read a book with our mum or our teacher or grandparents or whatever. We all love to watch movies. And so storytelling is something that we have been introduced to, at a very young age. And what tends to happen as, we get into the later years, and I'm not even talking as an adult, even as a teenager, is the stress that people are living with these days is real. The pressure, everything's so fast with social media and all the platforms and all the things and the information. And so what happens is people get stuck in their head. And so when it comes to stories, the first story that they need to unpack is the story that they're telling themselves. And we all have a story. And, if you don't know what your story is, then you need to work with a coach and actually unpack what your story is, because if you're not where you want to be, I can guarantee you it'll be a disempowering story that you've got around, what's going on and why you are who you are and where you are and it'll be all the shit from the past that just needs to be unpacked and completed. And you could literally do that in one conversation. And I know, Jeff, one of my famous quotes, which I know you love, and is 1 + 1 = infinity. And, you put yourself and a coach, or you and another, 2 brains, and literally anything is possible, because the other person doesn't listen to the story. They don't listen to your shit. And, I've been a coach, I've been a personal trainer, a mentor, and, manager, leader, all the things. And the biggest thing holding you back right now will be your story. So that's the first story that we need to combat is what's in your head. What are you telling yourself to actually create a new story that's empowering, that's uplifting, that's inspiring, and that's actually going to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And so then the second part of stories is people love stories because they buy in, and, they don't want, and I think there's so much these days in marketing. It's, the perfect, the pretty, the professional, no one gives a shit about that anymore. It's why TikTok
The Ferraris in the back and the planes in the back. Like, who gives a shit about that?
Exactly, because it's not relatable.
Yeah.
So the number one thing with stories, and, I know that there's, again, a lot of network marketers. I'm sure you've heard that facts tell, stories sell. And it's sales 101. When I had my 13 gyms and I've trained, thousands of personal trainers over the years, and they'd be trying to talk about, the exercises and, what they're going to do in a session. Well, no one gives a shit about that. All they care about is what can you do for them? And, you've got to unpack that in a story. So it's not just knowing how to share your story. It's about sharing anything in a story. When we're educating, people want to be entertained. Why do you think there's only a 2% completion rate with online courses? People don't want all the information, but give me a good story where there's a lesson and a key point, and that's what they're interested in. So super important. And when it comes to storytelling, there's a couple of segments to sharing a really positive story. And look, this is a whole training that we could go into, but
just on that before you quickly dive into that. So for our listeners, if you'd like to get Kylie to come back and have her come as a guest speaker and, do a training for our academy students, like, let's get behind this podcast and celebrate this episode and share it with your friends. And the more people that come back to me and message me, and, if I can get, even just 20 people reach out to me and say, I love Kylie to come back and host a masterclass on this, because I know Kylie is one of the best in the world to unpack storytelling. I love to get her come back. But guys, it's on you. You got to let me know. Do you want her to come back? But Kylie, if you could just give us a quick framework on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, totally. Look, I'll use, I know in your language with your peeps, you use Sucksville to Awesome Town. And really, it's creating the relatability in a story. So first and foremost, what's the pain? What's the problem? What's the Sucksville, or in my case, I call it the Caterpillar state? And then what happened? So what was the next thing that you did? And you want to keep that relatively short, because it's actually not how you got there. It's what was your before state, the Caterpillar state or the Sucksville? And then what does Awesome Town look like? Where are you now? But remember, and this is really key, you need to be mindful that you don't overshare on the Awesome Town or the state, because then that becomes unrelatable and your people are going to be like, oh, I can't do that.
Well, it also becomes about you, not them.
It's got to be relatable. So, and here's the thing, sharing a small win is actually more powerful than sharing a big win, because you got to remember that people are buying based on the 4 beliefs. So they've got to actually believe in you, that you can help them get from where they are to where they want to be. They've got to believe in your product or service. They've got to believe that it's the right time, but they've also got to believe in themselves that they can actually do it and show up and get the results. So if you're sharing this, wow, huge, amazing success story, their story in their head is already combating that, going, nah, I can't do that. Not possible. Versus if you share a little win, because you got to remember your niche, who are you talking to? You're talking to the Caterpillar, into the Sucksville.
Meet them where they're at.
You've got to meet them where they're at and just guide them to what's the one next step, because they can't see the end goal yet. So when it comes to marketing, you got to give them what they want, which is the one small baby next step. And then once they become a customer on your customer journey, then you're going to give them what they need and keep them as a customer for life. So different view on stories there, Jeff. I just thought I'd,
No, it's brilliant. And I
different.
love the maturing of it all. And what really resonates with me in that thing is we've got to slow it down. Sometimes we go a bit too fast. We're trying to get them to become a customer, right? But let's focus on serving and meeting the impact and building that relate, connect, resonate levels. And so story allows us to do that, slow it down. But by slowing down, we actually go faster. Because we're ticking the boxes, the psychological boxes that need to be ticked to form trust. And I would go far as saying that the biggest challenge that we have in today's online business world is how do we build trust? There's too many people being scammed and conned and all of the fraudsters out there, and trust is at an all-time low. And this is why I would go far as saying that the days have gone of the celebrity guru type coach that's celebrating the look at me, the Ferraris and the planes in the back. That day's over.
Yeah.
And I've even seen Frank Kern talk about this just recently, that the future of marketing is community type marketing because of that third party, trust. And Dan Kennedy calls it mention marketing. Who do you know who knows you could help you to solve your problems. And I know the best way to dive into that is through storytelling and using other people's stories to help you to highlight the lessons. And powerful.
And look, when it comes to everything, like the number one reason that most businesses struggle with marketing and why your marketing's not working is you're just not speaking the same language as the person that you're talking to. And it's not just in marketing. Like I see it in businesses that I mentor around HR. They're not speaking the same language as their team.
Yes, Leadership 101.
100%. In families, you're not speaking the same language in a way that your partner is going to understand, because men and women speak differently. Teenagers versus parents. Like, so much happening, and stories can help unpack that. And, just a real quick thing on that, with our mini golf fun part, we're doing a sponsorship for all the holes so people can sponsor, and, a bit like a golf club, right? But instead of having a sign like traditional marketing that just, markets the business, I've actually said to our sponsors, we're not doing that. We're going to be different. And we're creating, are you ready for it? A storyboard.
I love it.
And we're actually sharing what is the mission of that business so that people buy into the story, because law of reciprocity, they see that business as serving and giving back and what their mission is, and then they want to support the mission.
Yeah.
Versus supporting the business.
They buy in, right? They buy into the impact and the...
That's it. So, we're really excited about that. And again, stories. Even on a sign, you can create a story, QR code, scan it, instantly video, because people get to know, love, and trust you because they get to see you and feel your energy and hear you. So,
For our listeners, can you see what's happened here? Can you hear what's happened here? Kylie's octaves and her tone has just gone from one level to the next. You can see that she's passionate and she's really in a genius zone here. I love it. But Kylie, let's come back to the whole conversation around AI. That's the big thing here is empowering people to really embrace AI. Like a stat that I came across recently, that 91% of USA businesses know about AI now. They know the power of AI, but they're still not using it. So what is it? They're confused about it. They're overwhelmed by it. They're scared about it. Like there's a block that's stopping people leveraging AI. So as you can see just from this podcast, Kylie knows her stuff, especially when it comes to marketing and storytelling. As I said, one of the best I've ever come across. But before AI came on the scene, you are just an amazing person in this space. And I suppose where I'm going with this is it's AI plus our heart equals our superpower, and you're just an epitome of that. But how has your approach to social selling evolved with tools like ChatGPT? Like, what tips can you give to our listeners around integrating AI in the storytelling strategies?
Yeah, look, great question. And look, I'm going to start with answering that, coming back full circle to when you and I first found out about it. And Jeff, we're actually running a business booster program at the time, and we're like, no one, AI, no deal. And the first thing that we had to shift was our mindset. We had to change our attitude about AI. And, what are we now? A couple of years down the track, and ain't going away, people.
No, it's here.
So you either embrace it and 10x your life and your business, or you don't, and you are way behind. Like, you just cannot keep up if you don't embrace AI. That's the first thing. The second thing, it's not just for business owners. Like, I use it for everyday life. Like, I don't know how many times as a mum you get asked, what's for dinner? And, it's one of my least favorite questions. Like, well, now I just go to the fridge, the freezer, the cupboard and go, okay, I've got did it. Okay, ChatGPT, give me a recipe. Give me 5 different suggestions. Like, it's amazing.
This is pretty cool.
It's brilliant. But then from a business perspective, look, Jeff, I'm going to just own this. I'm fucking amazing when it comes to copywriting, social selling, writing social media stories, all the things, email marketing, you name it. Well, honestly, AI does it better than me. But here's the thing. It will only work really well for you if you train it to speak right and use your language. Because what I see is people who have tried AI and they're doing it really badly because they haven't trained the bot. Garbage in, garbage out. And unfortunately, and look, there's someone who I know who works in the online space and coaches other people. And I looked at a whole heap of social website copy, a heap of stuff that this person had done. And I just wanted to cry for the client because I could tell it was all AI written.
Yeah.
It didn't speak the language of the client. It wasn't in the right branding. It wasn't sharing the stories. So you've still got to feed the bot.
Mm-hmm.
For example, my post this morning, I've already, the post that I shared on social media was written by ChatGPT. I also use Ask AI. I've got paid and free versions, so I use a combination of everything. But honestly, it has saved me so much time because, one, I've trained it so it knows my language, it knows my style, it knows my brand, it knows my emojis, it knows my story. So you got to put all of that stuff into it. And Jeff is the expert, the number one leader in the world at this stuff.
Appreciate
so he can help you with that. And once you've trained it, get yourself out of the freaking way. Save your time. Go for a walk. Do the things that you love. Spend time with your partner, with your kids. I love getting out in the garden. I can do that now because I'm not spending all that time creating the content. And so for me, now I still put my thoughts in. Like, so this morning, actually, let me just open it up and I'll tell you what I did live here. Hadn't prepared this one, Jeff, but let's just.
You're right.
So this is ChatGPT. So I've literally said, scroll up. So I love to do a brain dump because I love journaling. So I actually kind of use ChatGPT like a bit of a journaling tool. So I like to talk to my ChatGPT like it's a person and he's got a name. It's Chatter. So good morning, Chatter. Can you please help me create another value post for Facebook today with the CTA being my 10X offer because I'm all about helping people to 10X their life, 10X their business. So today's post is about thinking. And I've just put a couple of key bullet points in there. Thoughts become things. It's just as easy to think big versus small. If you shoot for the moon, land amongst the stars. A couple of questions in there. Okay, Chatter, do your stuff. Give me a kick-ass post. And literally, Chatter's just gone boom. And it's all there in my branding, my words. And I just look at that and go, look, it looks like I've written it.
I know, right? But it's because you've trained it, you've given it the power, and it's leverage. It's leverage at its best.
It is, but then it gets better because now I'll now go back into that and go, can you now reword that into an email that I can send out to my email list? And I've got it trained. What's the subject line? What's the hidden text? And Jeff, I know that you are the dad joke king. You'll be pleased to know you've rubbed off on me. I now have mermaid jokes.
Well, okay. Well, I normally finish these episodes with a dad joke. You might have to throw a mermaid joke this time.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna give you 2. So, given that we're talking about business and social media,
why not?
So, why don't mermaids like to use social media? Because they don't want to get caught in the net.
But
I know. And we all know that we get caught on the net because it's ridiculous. Okay. And here's another one. Why do mermaids always know exactly what to say?
not sure.
Because they have plenty of sea insight.
Now tell me, did ChatGPT help you create those jokes?
I'm not a joke person. I suck at jokes. I've never been the one who can do those. So now I'm like, okay, ChatGPT, I want a mermaid joke for every one of my emails. And they're all around like business and social media. It's freaking awesome.
I love it.
I can't do that shit.
No, neither can I. Look, we could probably talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles, talking to a deaf dog at the corner of a round table on this topic. As you can see, we're both very passionate about it. But let's bring this episode to a close. Kylie, it's been an absolute pleasure. Just one tip I just want to share with people around storytelling before we close. See what Kylie's just done there, and Kylie knows that I know this pretty well because I learned from her. When we bring in storytelling and we bring in humor, we start to connect to people on that relational, emotional level. And that's what it's really about, right? And then when people connect to you, they get to know you, then they go deeper and they get to relate with you, they get to trust you. And that's where you can start to build some pretty awesome stuff together. And AI is just such a powerful tool in this space. As you can see, like it's the whole caffeinated kangaroo came about through AI. You know, like the quick story around that was I wanted to come up with a saying that expressed how excited I was. But I didn't want to just be the cliche, you know, crikey's Terry or, you know, the other cliches that are out there. I wanted to create something that's unique. Put all that information into ChatGPT, put the elements in of what it knows about me, and it came up with, I'm as excited as a caffeinated kangaroo bouncing on a trampoline. Right, cool. Now we've got something we can play with, and look where it is 18 months down the road. And it's pretty cool. I'm now creating these little AI little videos, you know. The latest tip here is I've started creating AI meme videos where you can take like little sort of motion images with your AI images, get them moving, and then put little captions up like it's awesome sauce. And so we'll see how well that takes off. But I think that'll be pretty cool. This is the creative energy that AI allows us to bring in. It untaps, it unleashes that creative side. Kylie, before we wrap up, what is one tip that you'd like to leave our listeners, one final word of wisdom around social selling, storytelling, purpose-driven life? What would that be?
Yeah, thank you. Look, the number one thing that I would say is do everything from a place of love and have fun because people like to have fun.
Yes.
And, you know, just because it's business, it doesn't have to be serious and boring. So, you know, I always do a check-in. The foundation for me is, am I coming from a place of love and am I having fun? And if you're always coming from a place of love and you are having fun, I promise you, the more fun you have, the more money that you'll make.
Boom. Couldn't have said it myself. And the biggest takeaway that I've learned from you in when you were mentoring me is how to have fun and have heart-to-heart connections. So that sums it up beautifully.
Yeah, beautiful.
Well, Kylie, this has been an absolute ripper of a chat. Your insights into storytelling, purpose-driven living, navigating life with heart has been truly inspiring. And let's be honest, your ability to juggle teenagers, business, and still have time for a laugh is legendary. So for our listeners who would like to connect with you, Kylie, or learn more about what you do and how you can help them, where's the best place they can find you?
You know what? The best way to find me is just to jump on social media. My name is Kylie Thompson. It's the Scots version without the P, so THOMSON. I also have a page, Biz Coach Kylie, or you can go straight to my website, bizcoachkylie.com.
Brilliant. Well, we'll make sure that's in the show notes and our listeners make it really simple and easy for them to come find you. Well, legends, if you've enjoyed today's episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a mate, subscribe, and leave a comment. And remember, those of you who go and comment, if I can see 20 comments on this episode, I'll bring Kylie back in for a special masterclass on storytelling. So make sure you go and leave those comments. Help us out. Let's spread the word. And let us know also, what's been your one key takeaway from today's episode and how are you going to apply that? Because knowledge is power, yes, but it's in the application where the transformation happens. Hey guys, this is Jeff Ross, your caffeinated kangaroo, reminding you to build a business that serves you, not the other way around. Until next time, let's chase freedom, make memories, and always keep it real. Catch you soon. Stay caffeinated, stay legendary, and thanks for your time.